This is Angela Bennett, Advice Resolutions. As you can see, I'm filming here outside of a solicitor's office called WSA Bannerman Burke. Now, you might be thinking, why am I here? Well, this is a solicitor's office that's responsible for providing a court duty service over the road for the Jedburgh Sheriff Court. Now, part of their remit is to provide criminal defence services for people who are accused of a variety of crimes. They're called summary offences in Scotland. This particular black woman of the global majority tried to access services from WSA Bannerman, and particular members of that particular firm had refused her access to these services. The reason is said because she had mentioned in public that the criminal justice system and lawyers, etc., are racist. Now, you do realise, don't you, that a person is allowed to make these comments as they are a protected act comment, and it's actually a declaration saying that racism isn't allowed and it shouldn't go on. Now, just because she said that, she's been denied access to a criminal defence service, of which, you cannot, for the life of you, get many services in criminal defence because the legal aid system is broken. The criminal justice system in Scotland is broken. It's very, very difficult to get a lawyer to help you in a criminal defence situation if you have one, and then you release them because they're no good, and you try to get another one. So here we are at WSA Bannerman, who refuses to provide a criminal defence service, and the reason being is because the person had made a protected act complaint. So what we can do is we can complain about them to the regulators, and the regulators will effectively maybe look into what they're doing, but then why would they still be allowed to act and provide a service still in the courts? Now, the courts are obviously letting them remain in their position by providing a duty service on the basis that maybe they're the only company to do this. But why should they permit race discrimination when they are actually a court that's supposed to be a court of justice? Well, if you're a court, you would comply with the law, wouldn't you? You wouldn't let WSA Bannerman Burke solicitors get away with racism to anybody for any reason, because racism isn't allowed. I use the word racism because they've got the power. They've got the power to decide whether or not you get a service. Let's look at it this way. I can't be racist, I'm black. You can see I'm black. The racists wield a lot of power. They make decisions that involve money, finances, decisions about your life in terms of whether you get treatment, whether you receive NHS, whether you have an education, whether you have welfare, whether you have housing. So here we are. Outside WSA Bannerman, they're permitted to cause racism, they're permitted to cause victimisation, and the court across the road at Jedburgh Sheriff Court are allowing this. If they really believed in equality and diversity, the Human Rights Act, the European Convention on Human Rights, they wouldn't let that happen, would they? There would be a court of justice, an actual court of natural justice and true justice. They would foster equality of opportunity, and they certainly wouldn't be, for want of a better description, aiding, assisting and abetting WSA Bannerman. They should be ashamed of themselves. Their behaviour is deplorable, disgusting, unrealistic in these times of difficulty to get criminal defence. And they should be prosecuted for discrimination. They really should. The police should have acted. In fact, Police Scotland should have arrested the solicitors in this office for inciting racial hatred. But we await for that to be seen to be done. Until then, WSA Bannerman, you should be ashamed of yourselves. You shouldn't be in the courts representing anybody, white or black. You don't represent the whole of the community. You only represent white defendants. That is disgusting. And you really need to be dealt with in terms of the law. And I hope that the sheriffs, and I hope that Jedburgh Sheriff Court pick this up and actually deal with this and find a new solicitor company that really represent race equality, diverse and included, and ensure people are in a safe space, because clearly WSA Bannerman, their behaviour is iniquitous and inexorable. So here they are, they've been named and shamed, and you can see for yourself. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.